Hey guys, Disler Magic here. More spoilers for Masters 25. I think they mentioned that tomorrow the entire rest of them are being spoiled, unless this is them. I wasn't really counting. So first up, Coalition Relic, and this actually was a $10 card, so it's pretty expensive, and you're going to see why. This card's insane. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, which is already pretty good. You can also tap it to just simply put a charge counter on it, and then, no matter what, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool for each charge counter removed this way. Unfortunately, it doesn't say may. That's why I don't really understand this, other than every turn it makes itself get tapped so that you can't use the mana off your turn. So I guess it was never intended to be a bonus. But still, it's whatever color you want once per turn. So, I mean, it's ramp, it goes in any deck, and there you go. Now, if you wanted something a little bit less complicated, just get Opaline Unicorn. It's like this, but in creature form and without the stupid pre-combat main phase crap. Anyway, this card's currently pre-ordering at $5, so already a little bit of a disappointment in a pack, but I don't know, you can throw it in like any commander deck, I think. I think mana abilities don't count as color identity. I actually have no idea. Anyway, next up, Courser of Crewfix. I mean, can you tell they just went through every set and said, what's the most noteworthy card from it? Because this was like $14 at the time. So you guys probably remember what this is if you have been playing for a while. But reveal the top, or play with the top card of your library revealed at all times, or I should say when this is in play. And it's a 2/4 for 3, so it's not going anywhere. No lightning bolts. And you may play the top card of your library if it's a land card, but only if you can play a land. It doesn't mean you can double drop lands. So when a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. I mean, you don't even need that. It's already a good card. So needless to say, that card is crazy, but it went down in value a little bit. Then it kind of went back up. So it was $4 for the Born of the Gods version, and the Masters one is pre-ordering at $1.79. Ouch. As it turns out, showing your opponent what card is next is bad. Next up, another card from Time Spiral, so they really didn't need to include this, and it's under $1, so they really didn't need to include this. So damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. Hello. You can also morph it for 3 as a 2/2 and then unmorph it for 2 red, and it becomes a 0/1, so it's rather easy to destroy this thing, which is ironic given the artwork. But yeah, it makes it damn hard to lose the game, especially in a draft. So the card's good, it's just not worth anything. Next up, I knew they would do it, I saw it coming, Pact of Negation. Okay, I thought this was super expensive because my last reference of this was when it was a Masterpiece, and it was like hundreds or something like that. Apparently the original Future Sight of this was only $21. It was in Modern Masters 1. Honestly, right now the Masterpiece is only $60. Jeez, come on. I mean, I know this is a very particular card. It's not what I would call a useful or good counter spell, but it's pre-ordering at $16. So as a rare, $16, cool. It's just, I think when people look this up, they're going to think, oh, wasn't that like $50? I don't know, maybe at some point. Even in like a limited environment like draft, this is still kind of useful if you're very confident you can come up with the mana, because counter target spell for literally 0, hello, but then you gotta pay 5/8 in your next upkeep or you lose the game. Next up, Luminarch Ascension. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if you didn't lose life this turn, which is the exact opposite of a lot of cards lately, you may put a quest counter on it. And then you pay 2, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying, activate this ability only if it has 4 or more quest counters on it. Never did like lore counters, never did like quest counters. They tend to function the same way, and it just means the card might be useful sometime in the future. Just give me like an Overload or a Strive or something. It's so much simpler, morph, whatever. Didn't really care for the quest cards, but I mean, it is a 2-cost enchantment. It does absolutely nothing until you can activate it, but when you can activate it, I mean, do you see anywhere on there that says remove a quest counter from it? You can just take 8 mana and create 4 4/4s. So if this goes off, it goes off, and there is some damage reduction cards in white. There's, Celestial Flare where you make them sack their attackers, settle the wreckage. I mean, you can play this card if you build the deck correctly. Now that said, it's only $3.50, so that's almost like nice, because like I want a copy of it and I want to put it in Commander, but still, it's not a worthless rare, but it's not really a worthwhile rare. Next up, is it Chemister? I am not going to make the joke. I don't care what you say, I'm not going to do it. So somehow it's pre-ordering at 79 cents and the Commander 2017 version of it is 49 cents. Not sure what Card Kingdom is thinking there. So it's a 1-3 for 3 with haste. Oh, I'm so glad they put haste on a 1-3 that costs 3. Anyway, you pay 1 red and tap it and exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, which seems utterly pointless until you read the second ability, which is pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, and cast any number of cards exiled with, is it Chemister, without paying their mana cost. The phrase without paying its mana cost or their mana costs should be banned from the game. Any card with that phrase on it should be banned. Free casting has gotten Wizards in so much trouble, caused so many bans, caused so many broken decks, and yet they still don't get it. They still print, Marvel. And then they still don't get it. They ban Emrakul, and then they're like, oh, people are just playing Ulamog. It's almost like not paying the mana cost is the problem. And then they had to ban Marvel. I mean, they'll probably go to Dominaria and print Show and Tell. I mean, they're just so stupid. They just do not get it, that you have to pay for shit. That's how Magic works. The cost is what the cost is for a reason. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So anyway, once again, this particular card looks scary, but it's like not crazy because, I mean, you can just self-mill with blue. You could just like chuck like 10 cards into the graveyard or whatever with certain cards. And then, oh, look, a 9-cost Omniscience. And you pay 2, sacrifice it, boom, you get it for free. That's why free casting from the graveyard isn't a good idea. I mean, like, from Wizards' perspective. From a player perspective, it's wonderful. It'll win you the game. But under more normal, less rigged circumstances, this is just like, oh, okay, I already cast it once and now I get to flashback everything, but I lose a creature. Oh, and you had to tap this and pay to tap it multiple times to put it into exile first. So, yeah, you're already 1 turn away. Like, if you're like, oh, cool, I finally got Omniscience in the graveyard, or, whatever, some kind of 11-cost sorcery or something absurd like that. Well, you still have to tap him to exile, then wait a turn because you got to untap him. So he's not intrinsically broken, which is why he's not, above 50 cents. But that mechanic is just dangerous. So next up, we got Elvish Piper. Big surprise here. It's 1-1 for 4. You pay 1 green, tap it. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. One of the most absolutely abhorrently stupidly designed piles of shit in the history of the game. Like, they just took a blank card, took a shit on it, and then this is what came out. You want to know what's the most astonishing about this card? It's not banned in anything. It's not even restricted in anything, and this is the ramp color. Of course you can get to 4. It is just mind-blowing that this card was even designed in the first place. And okay, I get it, 7th edition, they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and Urza's Destiny, that nobody knew how to design cards back then. But holy shit, how is this still legal? How is this not even restricted in Vintage? I mean, obviously the answer is nobody plays it. There must just be more efficient ways of doing degenerate shit and winning on turn 2. But this is one of my most hated cards in the history of Magic. You just tap it and Emrakul. It doesn't even put a restriction on it, no power limit, no mana cost limit, no, doesn't have to be a green creature, nothing. You just get this out and 1 turn later pay 1 green and win the game. Why is that a thing? Why did they even let this through R&D? And after 7th, they printed it in 8th, 9th, and 10th, M10, and whatever the hell Urza's Destiny was. This is so massively screwed up, and this card just makes me sick. I mean, in the draft environment, this is an absolute first pick, no doubt. This is just brokenness and unfairness in card form. Anyway, I'm going to make the whole video about this pile of shit if I don't stop talking about it. So, somehow this didn't hit Card Kingdom yet, so I don't know what it's pre-ordering for, but the other versions of it are between $6 and $8. So, I mean, for like $8, yeah, somebody's playing it. This is usually in Commander from the way I understand it. I have no idea what popular deck lists and other formats it would be. The fact that this isn't played in Modern is just astonishing. This card is so much better than Jace the Mind Sculptor. Words cannot even describe it, and this isn't even on anybody's radar. Now, some people are going to say, okay, but the card has to be in your hand. Yeah, so? I should build a Modern deck just called Broken Free Stuff, and it's going to be like this, Champion of Ronus, maybe Marvel, a little bit of like Ramp, we'll go with Aid from the Cowl, I'm not paying for anything, and then like 30 cards in the deck will just be Eldrazi Titans. How is that not already a deck? I mean, it's a little fragile, it's a little gimmicky, but like, so is Splinter Twin, so is Storm. Hell, so is Affinity. Modern's a freaking joke. Next up, another card that's been printed to death. There is absolutely no reason to put this in anything. It was in Commander, it was in Apocalypse, it was in Modern Masters 2015 edition, it was a time-shifted reprint. We don't need more of this, and it's below $1. It's like 70 cents. I mean, that said, it's a good card, though. It is a 4-cost 2/2, but it has flash, and when it enters the battlefield, counter target spell. This is like better and worse than Spell Queller, and Spell Queller is still $9. So yeah, I mean, people will play this, but it's still like it's a 4-cost counter spell. I mean, honestly, for that kind of mana, a 2/2 creature with flash, ooh, whoop-de-doo. I'd rather just run Insidious Will, because that's clone a spell, counter a spell, or redirect a spell for 4, your choice. You could do more damage than that than just, oh look, I got a snake and I countered your spell. I mean, you could just run a cancel for 1 less. You don't really need a 2/2 snake. That's why I think Spell Queller still has the edge. I mean, it's still a 2/3 for 3 and it's in the air and it has flash, so it's like, but it's 4 or less though. Keep that in mind. The spell that you can counter a Spell Queller has to be 4 or less. Next up, Laquatus is champion. I have no idea who Laquatus is. Try and explain this to me. The version from Torment, which is so old I don't even remember when that came out, 31 cents. The Masters 25 edition, 79 cents. Same artwork. There's actually a promotional pre-release foil version that's 79 cents. That seems odd. Anyway, when it enters the battlefield, target player loses 6 life. When it leaves the battlefield, that player gains 6 life. So, I mean, you could kill them with this. It's also a 6/3 and it also has regenerate though. So, with regenerate, it never technically leaves the battlefield. It basically just like ignores death, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember the exact ruling. It's just, it does not leave. It's actually like a death replacement effect. I'm not going to go into it. This card is basically worthless. It's a little high to play in a draft, but it is dangerous, so it's like, whatever. If you want to grab it, grab it. Next up, Rest in Peace. Boy, if you need a sign that they've already given up on the value of this set, Rest in Peace, Masters 25. Now, this is $3.49. It used to be $6, so, okay, but it's an RTR card, so I'm shocked that it wasn't in a recent reprint set, actually. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from all graveyards. That's kind of cool for 2. And if a creature or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it is a graveyard clear that's persistent. Enchantments seem to be harder to remove than artifacts in most cases too, just in general. So this is pretty good. I mean, I don't think it'll be, the ideal pick in draft, but it's alright. Next up, Hell's Caretaker, another garbage rare that's worth $1.79. It goes all the way back to Legends, by the way. Oh, and Chronicles. I don't remember which one of those came first. It's so damn old. So Hell's Caretaker, as I like to call it, the head of PR at Wizards of the Coast. Like, how many of those do you think they go through? I bet there's a new person every week. I'd rather try to work PR at a tobacco company. They do less wrong things. Anyway, it's a 1/1 for 4, so I'm sure it's great. You tap it, sacrifice a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate this ability only during your upkeep. Who cares? Bring out Emrakul. That's what this card does. I love free casting. It's so fair. At least it costs 4, it's fragile, and you gotta set it up, which is probably why it's $1.79. Next up, Zada Hedron Grinder. I'm not even going to look up the price. It's uncommon, and I know it ain't worth a damn thing. It's a 3/3 for 4 in red, which is already kind of bad, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Zada, copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell could target. Nobody ever really did anything too crazy with this, and I thought there was some combo with, like, Mirror Wing or something, or I don't know. Nobody ever really did anything with this. Even with boost spells, just nobody that I saw played it. So, alright. Anyway, each copy targets a different one of those creatures, blah, 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 whatever. And I think they count as, like, separate spells, but you're not casting them. So if you have a on-cast trigger, it won't work. But if you have how many spells did you cast this turn trigger, it will work, I believe. So this is actually kind of neat. I mean, it's kind of a neat card to have in a draft. Like, if you're like, yeah, I got some boost ambush, let's get some mileage out of it, run Zada. But if you don't, it's a crappy 3/3 without haste for 4 in red, so rough. Next up, Cloud Blazer, Vape Nation. It's a flying 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. I've seen people play this. I mean, like, the 2 life and the 2 cards are definitely worth the extra 3 mana. It's just they're not modular. But the good part is they're not modular. You only have to draw this 1 card to get both of those things. So, upside, downside. I mean, if you have a mana ramp deck, sure, put it in. If you don't, it's going to be a little rough. But in draft, you'll probably get there. That said, 2 color cards in draft, just know it might as well be in your pre-release pool. The odds of you playing these two colors, basically nothing. Still, it's a good card. Ain't worth a damn thing, though. The next up, we got Cloud Shift. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. That is just your classic flicker right there, and I think people like it because Avacyn's on it. Okay, these spoilers are getting to be really long videos, so since I don't run mid-roll ads and this is going to kill my view time and you only have so much time, I'm just going to end it right here. Other half of the cards are coming in the very next video, so watch for that, and I'll see you guys next video.